Let's do this. NFC North Talk. It's Monday. We got some Monday reviews to go through. Good morning, everybody. I got this YouTube link right there. I'm throwing it in the comments right now. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Let's do this. This is what. Yeah, it's the Monday review. Welcome one. Welcome all to NFC North Talk with your host. That's me, Russell Wayne. And we have a full Sunday's worth of football minus the Monday night football game that we have for tonight. We got some NFC North to go through. Now, we have already talked a whole bunch about the beatdown that the Lions put on the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. How are you feeling about that before I get into all this? We are broadcasting live into Detroit Lions news. We are broadcasting live, if you're a Packer fan, into Bill the Packer fan. I don't know how many Packer fans are left out there, but let's see that. I'm sure Robert's still out there. We are broadcasting live into Mike the Bear fan. What an epic meltdown. Oh, my God. You guys almost were able to talk some smack, but you can't. You're a garbage team. And then here we are, the Detroit Lions villain squad. And I've made it very easy how this can work right here. The Detroit Lions villain squad right there. There's the QR code. Stick your phone right on that and go follow us at Detroit Lions villain squad. And wow, what a weekend of football. And it was awesome. It was awesome, starting with all the Lions fans just got to sit back, watch some of the football games, knowing that we own the NFC North as of week 4. And then you got to watch these other two games. I know that you were wanting them to lose. The Minnesota Vikings coming out, squeaking out with a win. I actually thought that the Vikings looked pretty good. I don't know how you felt about that. But let's start with that Lambeau beatdown right there. What were your thoughts of that game in there? Whether you're a Packer fan or whether you're a Lions fan, put your thoughts from that Lambeau beatdown in the comments, because it surprised me. And now I'm going to go through and say good morning to all my peeps right here. Calvin's in the house. Yes, good morning, Calvin. Yes, hello, friends, and hello, Mr. Wayne. Yes, hello, Jason. Welcome to the program. Yes, Trevor Arnold. Yes, good morning, Russell, and all the Lions fans. All one pride. Jordan, one pride. Yes, man, those Bears are in hibernation. Yeah, they left quick. They went into witness protection really, really fast. My gosh, Dwayne in the comments right there. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Detroit fan, man. Renee's in there. I don't know who you're representing, but I always ask that right at the beginning too, that right at the beginning of the program. This is an NFC North program. Even though I am a Lions fan, we do represent all 4 teams in here. And if you are representing the Bears, or you're representing the Packers or the Vikings, let me know in the comments so I can give you a shout out right there. All right, we're going to say hello to Jason. The Vikings barely got their sails up, but hey, they won the game. They won the game, man. That's all it counts, is who wins at the end of the game. Single Dads Club, what's up? My Lions fans are in here representing. Look at you. Fire Eberflus, but at least Bear Down Mike is in there. And guess what? Who I have in the back, in the backstage right now, is all the way over on the West Coast, the West Coast Stat Master, Greg Rice.
What's up, Russ?
What's going on, man? You just waking up?
It's something like that. Yeah, I got my PJs on, my Lions sweater on.
You got your monster in hand. I feel you, man. I feel you, man. what a week of football. I haven't got to talk to you too much about the win, or really, there's been a bunch of great football, but you can start wherever you want, man. What do you want to talk
Russ,
about?
I mean, this is, in my opinion, not just because our Lions won. This is probably the most exciting week in football overall, generally, in my opinion. Had a couple overtime games. Seen a lot of great production from a lot of great players. I don't know, what a week for football, man. I'm just so glad the NFL's back. We're a quarter into the season. Detroit Lions sitting at 3-1. How rare is this? It feels good, Russ. Went in there, took care of business in Lambeau.
You damn right they did. And the best thing about the win to me was when you look at the way that they won and the way that they have been winning, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built something sustainable. This isn't just, oh my gosh, I hope they can do good this year and I wonder what's going to happen. This is, I mean, this roster is built to last 4 or 5 years, especially when it comes on the trenches side. They got these guys signed, you know, and it feels good to be a Lions fan out there, and it's no longer the same old Lions.
Yeah, I agree with you. At this point, that was a very, not just a regular win, but a statement win, essentially, in Lambeau. We took over Lambeau Field. Our fan base took over Lambeau Field. The fans are feeling, everyone's feeling it, you know, and, you know, living out here on the West Coast, we're a little skimp on Lions fans. And, you know, just talking to a bunch of different fan bases, people are really feeling the Lions and thinking that they got a shot this year, you know. And, you know, shout out to my guys at Wisco Fanatics. You know, we're getting production now these last 2 weeks from players that some people might consider mid or more role players. These guys are really stepping their game up. And, you know, you can't expect it every week. But as long as we get good plays out of these average players, Russ, I really do feel that we are contenders at this point.
And how can you not call it like that? Because, I mean, whether it was the first string, second string, third string, on the defensive line, they were dominating that line of scrimmage. And now I know that they had a couple guys out, but this is 2 weeks in a row here. And I know that Atlanta's offensive line is really good. So it's like, this isn't chumps they're doing this against. I do not think that the Green Bay Packers are a bad team.
Exactly.
And I mean, as much as we like to clown them, how we dominate them, and we did. And we dominated them up and down the line of scrimmage, but that doesn't make them a bad team.
Absolutely not.
Now, you run into a team that's got a pretty good right hook. And if they punch you good and they get you all wheezy, you know, that's what it's about. Good teams beat good teams. So I think that's what it is. Unless there's a Packer fan out there that wants to admit that they're garbage and that we beat a garbage team, but I don't think anybody's going to do that. So we got Main Event Mike is in the back. This is the Emmy nominated guy, so we're going to bring him on to the stage. Welcome to the program, Main Event Mike. One pride, man. I'm going to get I'm going to shut up since this is my show. I'm going to go ahead and sit in the back now because I've already talked ad nauseum about this thing, and I want to hear you guys have a conversation. So I'm going to go back and do my thing right there. Is that okay, Mike?
Absolutely, sir. I mean, let's face it. Lions go to 3. Hey, Greg, how are you?
What's up? How you doing, Mike?
I'm so good. How things in SoCal?
You know, it's pretty nice right now. Sun's out. I feel good. What a great week for football.
I mean, Lions beat the Packers, but the real big news is that Taylor Swift was at the ball game last night.
You know, Mike, when it comes down to it, that is all that matters right now. She has single-handedly brought in an entire new interest into the NFL. I'm sure Roger Goodell and Kansas City Chiefs marketing team is loving all the sales they've gotten off Kelsey's jersey, so they're benefiting.
It's not just the Chiefs, it's the entire league. In fact, a great stat came out that the last 2 Chiefs games was the highest viewed by the demographic of females from the ages of 12 to 28, a 17% jump in total viewership, and that's just from that demographic, which is a gigantic number. So I was just kidding. Let's stop talking about Taylor Swift before we lose all our viewers. I mean, the whole thing really is a dumpster fire. I mean, it's not football related. Can we just stop with it? Okay. I get
Actually, our viewership went up by 10 right there. I think our 12-year-old little girls.
As soon as you talk about Taylor Swift, viewership goes up. All right. Speaking of dumpster fires, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And they go to 0-4 on the season in the NFC North, dwelling solely in the basement. A seat usually kept warm by the Lions.
Yeah.
Bears are there now. But Justin Fields had inarguably his very best game as a professional. Justin Fields, 28 of 35 for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ooh, 1 interception, though. That's the one that killed the game for him.
Yeah.
What I really like about his stats is he had a QBR rating of 132.7. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just kudos for him. He did take 4 sacks, so that's not on him. But what I really like the stat is average 9.6 yards per throw, meaning he's throwing the ball down the field more. And that's a good sign. My question for you, Greg, is this enough to save Justin Fields? Is this
absolutely not?
Is this game enough for Bears fans to hold on to hope?
No, not at all. Look, that Denver defense is nothing to write home about. This is not the same Denver Broncos defense that appeared last year. I did see some hope on offense. DJ Moore had a hell of a game. That DJ Moore Patrick Surtain matchup was very good for those that got a chance to watch the game. But this Broncos defense just isn't the same. We could stop pretending that they did this magical thing. This is a game Chicago should have won yesterday. When you were up 28-7 and to just give it all back, you got to start questioning coaching. Now Justin Fields did have a key turnover in the part of the game. But I don't really put this win anywhere near him. There was a couple really questionable calls made. The Chicago Bears are the Detroit Lions as of now. Like you said, they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That was such a Lions thing to do. You know, the same old Lions type thing to do. I don't know what to say at this point. They got so many questions, not enough answers. Where does the blame go? Who gets it? Who doesn't? I mean, what do you do at this point other than know that your season is essentially over and that you're already looking towards next year's draft and what you could do? And I really do, as much as I hate the Bears, I really do pity them because we've been in this spot so many times as Lions fans, already peeking over into college football and seeing who's really balling out there for a high pick. And it's just.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, they did everything right. Chicago Bears did everything right. 300 yards passing, 171 yards rushing. They did everything you should be able to come out of there with a win. Your quarterback's efficient, throws 4 touchdowns, and they still lose. And I realize that they've got a trash defense, okay? They got a trash defense. But, man, there's enough good players over there. They should be able to withstand the Denver Broncos on an offense slot to win the game. It's very sad. It makes me wonder if this is the kind of loss that could send the entire season into a spin. And I mean, we might be looking at 1 win, 2 wins for the entire season. What do you think about all that, Russell?
You know, I watched the game, and I watched both of the games. You know, when it comes to Minnesota and Chicago. When I watched Chicago, I watched them play a bad team, and I watched them be able to get stats. You know, I like the fact that that Justin Fields was actually able to sit back in the pocket, make a couple throws and everything like that. But pump the brakes there, Chicago fans, right here. This is the worst team in the NFL that you played right there. It was a battle for the worst team. So yes, there was some very bad defense on both sides of the ball, people that were looking confused all over the place. So yes, it was statistically Justin Fields' best game, but I mean, you're doing that against the Denver Broncos, who are arguably shitty as you, and now that you actually won that battle. You did win something, Chicago. You are the shittiest team in the NFL.
Even the Arizona Cardinals have a good quality win so far, 4 weeks into the season. So Definitely, I think it's inarguable. We did have some Bears comments in here. Rajneesh said, we're good over here in Chicago. Well, I don't know about that, Rajneesh, because your team's in big trouble right now. You still got to play the Lions twice. You got to play the Packers again. I mean, there's 3 more losses, I'd have to say.
Dorn.
John Dorn says, name one game that Fields hadn't have an interception and fumble. I'll wait.
And that's it, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to when it's with Justin Fields. You can have all the ability in the world, but if you're giving the other team points at any point in time in a game, then you're given an advantage. And he just does not protect the ball good enough. You got to learn how to take your hits and not let it completely derail your entire game. So, I mean, they argue that, Dorn argues that noodle arm Goff can't do anything, but at least when Goff throws an interception, he goes back out there and he plays sound football after that and doesn't live in his mistakes. You blew that game, Bears. I mean, you guys should have a win right now, and you don't.
So hard to put it
but
on.
They are who we thought they were.
If you watch the replay of that last play on offense by them, where he throws the interception, Cole Kmet gave up on the route. Fields had already thrown the ball. If Cole Kmet would have continued on his route, it would have been right on the money. I mean, the defender was surprised. He caught that ball in self-defense. And it's hard to put that one on Justin Fields. He played his best game as a pro. He was efficient. He threw 4 touchdowns. And that last INT, I'm not going to put on him. Jeremy Ballreich says, yay, Fields looks like he might develop to be the best gadget player in the league, but a starter, he's not.
And then
he played like one yesterday. Rajneesh says it doesn't feel like 0-16. I could tell you that. All right. Well, how would you know?
Yeah.
We'll tell you what 0-16 feels like, Rajneesh.
And let me tell you this, Rajneesh. If you go back and you look at the scores in that 0-16 season, look at how many of those games were really, really close where we actually did the things that you're doing, which is stealing defeat from the jaws of victory, having the opponents on the rope and then getting knocked out. That is what happened to you. You had them, you were throwing haymakers, and you're like, I'm throwing, out you go. Russell Wilson. And the better quarterback comes through.
And in some respects, it does feel like 0-16, like you just said right there. There's some very similar scenarios from that 0-16, 0-8 team to this current Bears team. So definitely looking for them. I mean, they did everything right, guys. They had 100. They had 100. Khalil Herbert had over 100 yards rushing. So, I mean, they did it. And they still lost. And they had home field, and they still lost. That has got to be very deflating if you're an NFL player on the Chicago Bears today.
Mike, are you ready to talk to somebody from the Chicago Bear fan base right now? Do you think that you could do that?
Do they have a mustache?
They don't have a mustache, but he's affiliated with a guy that has a mustache. And his name is none other than Ken Dobie. Welcome to the program, Ken.
Oh, my. Ken Dobie.
Hey,
there's been a Ken Dobie sighting.
Yeah, I know. I've been busy, guys. Hey, so the Cole Kmet thing last night, you guys are wrong. Not that Cole Kmet gave up on the route. After the game, like right after the game on the SiriusXM broadcast, they grabbed him and, hey, tell us about the last play. Kmet said this: Justin thought I was stopping, but I kept going. So Justin put the ball where the ball was supposed to be, but Kmet continued on and moved to where he wasn't supposed to be. So, Mike, you were right that in that regard. The pick was Kmet's fault, not Justin's, and Kmet owned it. Guys, I mean, come on. Fields has a great game yesterday. What was his QBR? 130-something? 4 touchdowns, 300-plus yards. The strip sack, they happen in the NFL. Defense made a good play. He was trying to get the ball to Kmet. Defender got there a second before he could get the ball out. Okay, it happens. To me, this loss yesterday comes down to one thing and one thing alone, and that's fire Matt Eberflus or Mike Eberflus or whatever Eberflus's first name is. 4th and 1 in the red zone, 2.5 minutes left. You kick a field goal. You then take the lead. forced Denver to go down the field to kick a field goal to make you go to OT, a touchdown to win. But what do? You go from the shotgun on a run play where the running back starts from standing still to run into a brick wall, and you turn it over on downs and then let them go down the field and kick a field goal and win the game. Completely terrible coaching. I said it last night on our podcast, for the game. Claypool was right. Coaches suck.
Playoffs.
Blank. Coaches.
But they aren't what we thought they were.
Yeah, but do you go in with a new coach and keep this quarterback?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think you have.
Look, I mean,
Ken, stop. You have Stockholm syndrome. What is going on? I mean, the guy, he had one good game in his career, and you're holding on by a fingernail to this guy.
Well, look, there's a couple reasons why, Mike. One, you have him under team control for this year, next year. Two, you can still draft a quarterback in the draft this next year, and then keep him on the bench behind a very cheap Fields. Which is going to cost. Look, what Fields is going to cost you next year is what you're going to pay a good quality veteran backup anyway. So even if we decide at the end of the year, you know what, a quarterback is what we need in the first round, you can still play Fields and not start him. I mean, we got one or two things can happen. New coaching regime, everything. Fields ends up turning the quarter like, oh, yep, okay, he's good. Cool. Now you got this first-round draft pick that you can trade, you can hold on to for a couple years under a rookie contract. There's a lot of things you can do. But Fields did everything you want him to do yesterday. I mean, I think we've proven this year since week one, very first drive, that the coaching is the issue, right? I mean, he's 0 for whatever on fourth downs right now. He said it last week, and then he retracted being the, politically correct NFL football player. But Fields was right last week, too. The coaching sucks. Eberflus should not be calling the defense and trying to be the head coach. He can't do either.
Wow. How quickly they turn. So is Eberflus going to be suited up out there throwing passes?
What's funny? And
he's
Greg,
not the problem.
And Greg, you know this. The Bears have never fired a head coach during the season before. I think Eberflus is trying very, very hard to be the first head coach in Chicago Bears history to be fired during the season.
Are you an advocate for putting Tyson Bagent in now?
No.
If you lose the next, at what point would you be an advocate for that?
Maybe after week 9 or so, if we're still where we're at. Fields played great yesterday. Overall, he had a great game. He threw the ball. Look, when he had to make a decision, did he make a bad decision yesterday?
That's one game, Ken.
Against
a bad team. It makes decisions easier.
When he had to make a decision, did he make a bad decision in the game yesterday? No, he did not. Even when you look at last week, did he make poor decisions? No, he did not. The Tampa Bay game, that stupid pick six, design play, right? Toss it up. My guy should be right there. It's a faith throw. Well, his faith wasn't rewarded. If you look at the mistakes that some people will like to say, well, that's Fields. Well, look at the play itself. Look what it was supposed to be. Was he doing what he was supposed to do, or did he make a bad judgment? I have not seen bad judgment calls made from him as far as his throwing overall this season. And quarterbacks are going to make a mistake. Goff makes them. Everyone makes them. He's progressed. Great game yesterday. Coaching failed him again. And coaching's failed this team this entire season. This defense is worse this year than it was last year. How the hell did that happen when you add a brand new linebacking core, which for all intents and purposes is a very good linebacking core? You did get Yannick up front. You drafted that in the interior line. This defense should be better, yet it's worse. The offense should be better, yet it's worse. I mean, Claypool.
I can explain that for you.
Go ahead.
All the other teams got better too, Ken. Okay? They all got better too, except Denver. And
did Green Bay get better? I don't know. Did Minnesota get better? I don't know.
No, I guess that's a good point. Minnesota definitely did get better.
Neither did Green Bay.
Neither did Green Bay when they lost a Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, touche. You got me on that one. But
Yeah,
hey, you know what? I want to kick this over to Greg real quick. What is going on here, Greg? If you were a Bears fan, would you have the same stance as Ken Doby that it's the coach's fault and not the quarterback?
Well, I think there's a lot of it goes on the coaching. I mean, my only question for Ken would be, look, I get it. It's a what have you done for me lately? I think Justin Fields did have a good game yesterday, but then let's go to the week before that. We're talking 99 passing yards, Ken Doby. He's done this 4 times in a league built on passing. And my question is does this erase all the fumbles, the INTs, and everything? Look, if I'm not on board with starting Tyson Bagent at this point after Justin Fields, the way he played. But I guess my question is if he goes out and lays another stinker, are we just flipping back and forth on bad games, good games, bad games? Because look, the career body of work, Ken, is just not impressive. In fact, it's anti-impressive. It's depressive. Okay?
It's funny, though, you say that, Greg, because, I mean, we've seen the memes. I'm sure we've all seen them. There are memes out there that compare his start to Mike Vick's start, right? Where they're comparable. Then you've got the one that show him with Mitch Trubisky. They're comparable. I look at the 4 games we've had this year and what he's done and what this team has done in general in the offense. I mean, dude, last week we didn't run. We didn't pass. We didn't do anything well. So last week, is it Justin Fields or was it something else? I mean, you have to look at it that way. And when I look at what Justin is doing, he's working with what he's been told to work with, so to speak. I mean, he played better last week in some regards than the week prior. But no, I don't think it's as much on Justin as it is the play calling and the coaching in general. I thought the play calling was a little bit better offensively in the first half yesterday, for sure. You saw more play designs that were designed to break wide receivers free versus just run out there and try to get open. So that looked better. But Fields, I think you can't really say start Bagent until you get to week 9, 10. If he's just being a terrible quarterback. And that's the other thing. You have to look at the interceptions that are thrown. If it's some bad decision making, that's one thing. If it's interceptions from like last night with Cole Kmet, where the ball is to be placed at X, but the receiver is at Y, right? Because the receiver missed the mark. Well, then you can't blame the quarterback for that. And I've always been an advocate for that, no matter what the quarterback is. It's one of those stats where I think for interceptions, there should be an asterisk, right? Interceptions made by poor choice of quarterback, interceptions made because the receiver went left when he was supposed to go right. You know what I mean? We've seen that throughout the time. And Fields has been somewhat of a victim of that, like every other quarterback this season, too. So if he was making bad choices with the ball, he's not making poor ball choices.
Right. And that comes from the Jay Cutler Book of Excuses, chapter 9, verse 3, interception because there it is, the Jay Cutler Book of Excuses.
Jay Cutler threw a lot of interceptions because he was a gunslinger. He was gunslinging it, point blank, like Brett Favre, especially when you're down 2 or 3 touchdowns. He was always gunslinging it. That was, Jay Cutler did get some interceptions.
All right, we're not going to talk about Jay Cutler.
Yeah,
that was a joke. That was a joke, Ken. That was a joke. And we have another team that we have to talk about too. There was other teams that played in the NFC North, and I'm done talking about how bad the Chicago Bears are now.
Look,
because
there's only one other team in the North we're talking about right now, and it's a team that you 3 are cheering for. So, I mean, the Vikings. Well, first off, let me thank
the Vikings won their game, Ken. The Vikings won their game.
Skull.
I thank them because right now the Bears own the first and second pick in the draft because of it. So,
yeah, I mean, I think Russell's point is, who deserves more time on this show? The team that blew a 20-some point lead or the team that actually won their game yesterday?
No, I
Ken,
would say
Ken, it's
neither.
great to see you back on here. And I wanted to say, Russ and I shot a TV show a couple weeks ago, and we worked directly with the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Club, Michigan chapter, and they were outstanding guys. So I could see why you're a member of that club, because they were really some really outstanding guys.
Let me make a quick correction. We're not a club. We're an association. Trust me, in the motorcycle world, that's a big distinction.
Okay.
We're a motorcycle association, not a motorcycle club. There's
Okay.
a huge, massive difference there.
Right. One shares their old lady and one don't.
Yeah, no, it's not like that at all either. But so CVMA, great organization. In fact, we just did a 22 ride this weekend. This time of year down here in Florida, there's a ride every weekend. So CVMA, we're out and about riding. Yeah, we're an association, not a club, and great that you guys did some stuff with one of our chapters up there in Michigan. Hey, you guys got to keep winning games. I mean, you guys are what we thought we were at the beginning of the season. You guys are doing great. Week 1, I didn't get a chance to congratulate you. I remember, if you guys remember, I said that was one you could steal, and
I do.
Sure enough, you guys stole it. Without Kelsey, it was still a good game week 1, and you guys are looking pretty good. And my team's looking and Minnesota. Hey, Kirk Cousins. If we want to talk about Minnesota real quick, does Kirk Cousins deserve a contract at the end of this year?
Yeah.
He's leading all quarterbacks in yards thrown. I mean, he's looking good. Minus the interceptions yesterday. I mean, statistically speaking, he's looking pretty damn good for them, isn't he?
Yeah. If the Bears had him, they'd probably have 2 wins.
I don't know about that.
I think Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in this division still. He's one of the top 10 quarterbacks probably in this whole league. And he's carrying this team. And that's a great way for us to segue into the Viking game, Ken. Thank you so much.
Let me get into Viking mode. There we go.
No, you have to put pigtails in your hair.
Let me call Rob. I think he's got a spare set.
Minnesota Vikings go into Carolina, and they beat the Carolina Panthers 21-13 to avoid 0-5. I'm saying 0-5, not 0-4, because they got Kansas City coming up next week. So they stave off the 0-5 record by their defense. Actually, the Brian Flores defense with pick 6. I think they had a couple of touchdowns on defense, didn't they? No, just one. But Kirk Cousins, the aforementioned, 12 of 19 for 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, with a quarterback rating of only 80.7, easily his worst game of the season, and coincidentally the only game they've won this season. But I'll tell you what the difference here was. It's rushing. Minnesota able to finally run the ball. They go for 135 yards. Cam Akers rushing for 8 yards per carry at 5 for 40. Alexander Madison, a very respectable 5.6 yards per carry average, 17 carries for 95 yards. They're able to run the ball against this Carolina defense, which is a great sign for us Lions fans as we have Carolina coming into town next week. 21-13. I think the real story here is the defenses. Even Carolina had a pick 6. Otherwise, they would have only put 6 points on the board against this Brian Flores defense. We'll start with you, Greg Rice. 21-13. Are you reading anything into this victory?
For the Vikings, not really. Essentially, it was kind of just ugly offensively. As you mentioned, Kirk Cousins didn't have really a good game at all. They went up against a rookie quarterback, so essentially, it was a bad team beating a bad team, in my opinion. Not taking away anything from the Vikings, but it was just an ugly game. So kudos to the Vikings for getting the first dub of the season. Other than that, though, Kirk Cousins did look like crap. This is a very good underrated Panthers defense. They got some hitters on that front 7, and hopefully our Lions are just able to study this tape and see how they ran the ball efficiently. Because that front 7 of the Panthers, I really do like.
I do too, and that's definitely the strength of their team. But the Minnesota rushing attack is not powerful, and they were able to put up 135 or 39 yards rushing against them. So I'm very optimistic that David Montgomery and company will be able to be just as successful. Any thoughts on this game, Russell?
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at the game, I really thought that Minnesota is showing me that they may be the second best team in this division. and that I mean, Kirk Cousins is just pretty damn good. And and this is something I want to caution Lions fans with, that Carolina defense is for real, guys. Like, they are really, really good on the defensive line, and they might give our offensive linemen problems again. Last year they ran the ball and beat us at the point of attack and were more physical than we were last year. So I do not want to sleep on these Carolina Panthers, who held an offense that has been just going off on everybody and losing games, and holding to Kirk to his worst game this year at 139 yards and and 2 picks. So this is a real defense right here in Carolina. Yeah. And I think that Minnesota showed that Brian Flores is actually scheming up a little bit of the stuff here. They were able to get some stops when they needed. So I think that Minnesota is going to make a vie right here. And just, I guess it's a hot take at this point, but I think they're the second best team in this division.
Wow. Yeah. And you make it
as hard as I've been on them all summer long. And I'm looking at it yesterday, and I think I might be wrong.
Yeah. And when you consider, you make a great point about that Carolina defense. They did hold the Minnesota Vikings high-powered offense to less than 300 yards total in the game. So definitely not sleeping. And I really do see this as a trap game for the Lions. Don't you, Greg? You see this as a trap game, the Panthers against Lions?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Like we've already touched on the defense. Look, they got a couple good secondary pieces. J.C. Horn's been one of my favorite corners in the league. It's going to be interesting to see who he matches up against. But, yeah, essentially, I look at this as a vengeance game. Last year, the Panthers beat us so badly and so convincingly in a time where we were rolling, Mike. So I do know that Dan Campbell and company, they've got that in the back of their head. They beat us last year at such a critical junction in the season where, had we got that win, we might skid our way into the playoffs. That being said, we got to bring it. We can't slip. We can't be leaky. Play sloppy ball. That Panthers front seven speaks for itself. They've been doing it now for a couple of years. Was really impressed with Steve Wilkes last year. That their only X factor is they got a rookie quarterback at the helm right now, and past Detroit Lions teams, I would have been scared because we have an ability to make rookie quarterbacks look really good at times. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. I do still want to see a little bit more before I call us conference contenders or anything like that. I do have us as division favorites. But, Mike, we've touched on this before. Good teams win the games they're supposed to. And I do look at this as a game we should and could win. Or could and should win, I should say. But we'll have to see, man. If we're able to get this dub and eke out 4-1, I think we can really just, I don't want to say have the division locked up because I made that mistake back in 2013 after our Cowboys victory. But I do see this as essentially after being 4-1, this should be a division that we should take easily. And we're looking more at conference standings than anything.
Right. And that's a good point. I mean, we saw what happened after the Kansas City game. We came out, we lost. We had 10 days to prepare, and we lost. Now, Seattle's a much better team than Carolina, and you can see in the comments that a lot of the viewers agree with this. That, a lot of viewers disagree about this being a trap game. They believe that this is a game the Lions should win handily, maybe by record. They should win. It's any given Sunday in the NFL, and nothing is more dangerous than a wounded animal. And this animal is wounded. They are winless, and they are hungry to get that first win for their new coach, their new quarterback. And the Lions are the perfect prey for them to come in on the road and catch us sleeping and sneak out of Ford Field with a W. I hope it doesn't happen, but I certainly wouldn't bet on this game.
I wouldn't bet on it either. And I think that the Lions will win the game, and I'll pick them to win the game. But here's the thing, when it comes with the offensive and defensive line, that always is a wild card to me. And when teams are strong there, it's just this thing where, it's kind of like that Chargers game that I picked in my lock pick, right? It's like you know where these guys are strong, and the next man up kind of works in some situations, and sometimes it doesn't, right? Well, the Carolina Panthers have a deep and good, nice, deep defensive and offensive line, and they're strong there. They're strong. So that's what scares me, because that's not something that shows up in a stat necessarily. It's just kind of all over the place. Your rushing's a little better. You got a little bit better passing, all these different things. But gosh, that scares me. The Carolina scares me. That's PTSOL. Is that PTSOL for me?
No, that's common sense.
That's real.
That's someone who knows the NFL and knows how it goes.
And Carolina should scare you, because like you guys said, they've got they're good in the trenches. I mean, they've been pretty bad everywhere else, but they are good in the trenches.
Yeah.
They have given teams everything they've gotten. I mean, they haven't been a layover. They haven't been the Bears. Put it that way. They haven't been like the Bears defense, which is like, here, let me show you where the end zone is.
Yeah.
They have been a very good, solid team on the lines. They have a solid, legit defense. Offensively, they brought in the right guys for a rookie quarterback. Thielen's going off. If any of you have Thielen in fantasy, he's putting up points, right? He's doing what he needs to do. And look, they lost to a Vikings team that's trying to establish the run. You guys have a guy who has more touchdowns, or had more touchdowns coming into yesterday's game than the entire Chicago Bears did in Montgomery, who you guys know I love David Montgomery. You guys have a great running game. You have, like, St. Brown didn't have the best game. Who cares? Montgomery had a great one. You guys have that ability right now that let's say Carolina doesn't, right? So that's why you have an advantage. You should beat them. But I agree with you guys. It is a trap game, because people will overlook the fact that they are very good in the trenches and have a legit defense.
Yeah.
And when you said, look, it's the high-powered offense in the Vikings to contain them to under the ball, that should tell people legit defense. Like, Cousins had a bad game, and we had the Vikings defense deliver a win. What?
Right.
I mean, we all hate their defense. Their defenses, we all think their defense sucks, and their defense had to deliver a victory. That should tell Lions fans, hey, trap game. We're playing a very good defense here. They may not be winning games, but they are still a pretty good team.
Yeah, very good on the defensive line. I mean, Brian Burns, that guy could play on my team any day. So definitely a guy, and that's a guy that can wreck a game plan.
Absolutely.
So I definitely got to watch out for that. Now, speaking of defensive line, next week, Ken, the Bears get the Commanders, one of the best D lines in the league. What do you like your chances there?
So I watched after watching them play the Eagles
last
night, the Eagles Commanders game, and what a good game. And McLaren got robbed on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was so in. But anywho, we don't stand a chance. The Commanders are going to just cut through us like a hot knife through butter. I mean, I think offensively, Fields might be okay. We might see some Fields of Komet kind of stuff. The running game's getting a little bit better. I want to see more Roschon for the Bears. Defensively, though, McLaren will probably put up 100-plus yards. Even with I really don't see us beating the Commanders on Thursday night. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Commanders beat the Bears pretty convincingly Thursday, and by Friday, Eberflus is fired. And I so hope.
Wow.
And I kind of, especially if he makes another bonehead fourth down, we can get points and tie the game or win the game. But no, I'm going to go for it and we fail. I just honestly, I'm done with Eberflus. Nothing he's doing is working. Nothing is singing to me. And the Commanders,
they are who we thought they were.
They should beat us handily. It shouldn't even be a close contest.
Oh, wow. Well, the Commanders are favored by 6.5 at home against the Bears. So you heard it here first, folks. Ken Dobie says, take Washington and lay the points.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's move on. We talked about who the Bears have next week. We talked about who the Lions have next week. Let's talk about the Vikings and the Packers and who they have next week, kind of looking ahead at what their records might be, kind of take a little peek and see what we're looking at. You got the Packers. Go ahead.
Do you not see the picture or not?
I do.
What do we move on to next? And you move on to the Vikings when I have a picture of it? Jameson Williams is back? Are you okay, Mike? I need to give you I put that up midway. I put that up 16 minutes into Ken Dobie's take. Going all the way to the end. And with the picture up, Mike says, "Let's talk about the Vikings."
Hey, Russell.
Oh, that was classic.
Hey, Russell's Jameson Williams back? Is he back?
That's great.
Shit, I mean, is it? Maybe it's not that exciting. Maybe it's like, yes, Jameson Williams is back, and they're going to give him 3 targets.
All right,
and he's going to drop 2 of them.
I'm going to take me Russell, I'm going to take me bets on it.
1 reception for 8 yards and 2 drops.
It'll be like 9 targets, 1 reception, 1 touchdown, like,
and 1 called back on a penalty.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Russ. I mean, you're always putting random shit up. So I will follow from now on. Though, you have my word.
That was great, though. That was a great segment. Come on, guys. You guys have fun during that segment. Let's have.
Yeah, it was great.
We can't take ourselves too seriously on this show, right? I mean,
it's Monday morning. Give us a break.
I'm just going to go on a limb here, guys. Let's talk about Jameson Williams for a minute. Jameson, oh, there you go. Good job. That's our producer, Russ Lane, doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams back. His suspension was suspended because the NFL changed its rules on the gambling penalties. And by proxy, Jameson Williams has already served his suspension. So he'll be coming back 2 games early. We're going to get him back for the Carolina game. Whether he plays, how much he plays, no one really knows at this point, but we do know that Dan Campbell's big on practice. If you don't practice, you don't play. And the Lions have shown over the last couple of years that this regime likes to ease in players. So I expect he gets, like Russ said, maybe 4 targets in the game. Maybe he sees 8 to 10 snaps. That's just my opinion. Put it in the comments. Let us know what you think. How much you think Jameson's going to play in this game? How big of an impact do you think he'll be? So we'll ask you, Greg Rice. Is this a big deal for the Lions to get J-Mo back now?
I mean, sure. Is he cutting into Marvin Jones Jr. snaps?
Oh,
what are we doing there? All right, look. I don't know what to say about Marvin Jones Jr. at this point, other than it's not a nice comeback. Sure, give him some Marvin Jones Jr. snaps. In terms of him cutting into Josh Reynolds or Amon-Ra St. Brown snap, no way. Not going to happen. Both those guys have been playing very good ball. I want to see Jameson Williams develop into a better blocking. He certainly can't play any worse than Marvin Jones Jr. The reason why I keep hammering that home, folks, is because Lions fans were so ecstatic when we brought this guy back. We thought we were getting 2017 Marvin Jones, and it just hasn't happened. So, yeah, J-Mo, bring him on in. Give him all of Marvin Jones snaps, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That sinus thing is still bugging you, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah, I think I have a deviated septum. So, yeah. Kind of dying over here, Mike. Don't mind me.
On the day that Tom Petty passed away 6 years ago today, you're having nasal problems. So it's ironic. Get some Claritin, my friend. Get some Nasonex and make a strong comeback because we know you will. So it has been. Let's see. It has been 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 742 days.
I'm sorry. The days are racking up so fast, Mike. I'm a little bit behind on the graphics.
That's
I'm
okay.
So sorry.
That's why I mark it on my calendar. But at least I went to the right segment this time. 742 days since the Packers have beaten the Lions. And if they don't do it in Ford Field on Thanksgiving, you can add another 365 to that from there. So, Ken Dobie, as a Bears fan, was it great to see the Pack get beat down? I mean, I don't care what the records are. I don't care what the standings are. We can agree as Bears and Lions fans, it's always great to see the Packers lose. Is that right?
It's great to see. It's also great to see the coming down to earth of Jordan Love after week 1. Oh my God, he's the next Messiah. He beat the Bears. Yeah, well, the Bears suck, and Jordan Love's not that good. So,
How about this graphic, Ken? Can you see that? Who is the best QB in the NFC North? Put it back up there, Russell.
Well,
Put it back up
Okay.
there.
Hold on a
we
second.
already all said. I mean, I think we all agree it's the guy on the right.
Yeah. Did you notice there's one that's not even on there?
Well, that's because whoever made this little picture obviously didn't have enough coffee that morning to give all 4 options for all 4 teams. I mean, I thought it would have been funnier if Russell had put Tyson Badgett on there.
Oh, it would have been funnier.
That would have been funny. But I mean, look, Kirk Cousins is still the best quarterback in this division. Goff is doing well so far this season, but he hasn't hit Cousins' status yet. But there's hope. There's hope for him. I mean, you guys are playing good. I mean, the Pack. Look at the Pack has played good. Love has benefited from his teammates, so I'll give him credit for that. But week 1, Aaron Jones won that game and made Love look like a stud. And Packer fans like, oh my God, he's a stud. And we're starting to now see that when you force Love to be a good quarterback, he is not necessarily a good quarterback.
It's true.
So I look forward to seeing when they play you guys and to see what he does when he gets a defense that's going to smash him a little bit harder. And when he has to play from behind against a defense that's going to not give it up, like the Bears say, here's the end zone. Why don't you have a look? Right. So, yeah.
I expect the Bears to play Green Bay very, very tough when they go up to Lambeau, though, because after they were embarrassed at home and the ridicule that the Green Bay Packers dished out onto the Bear fan base after that loss, I thought was very, very sad. And I think the Bears are going to play their asses off to try to get a win out. And there's going to be a little bit more tape on Jordan Love by then. And, I think defenses are going to find out a way to rattle him the way the Lions did in the first half of that game. Kudos to Jordan Love. He played great in the second half and he came back. And I think this kid is legit. He's definitely got more skill than Justin Fields, in my opinion. Russ, I got to jump off of here. Can I plug the show?
Yes, please. Because I want you to respond to this as you're plugging in the show, because I know what you're going to be doing.
As in this John Dorn comment here?
Yes.
Just think the Lions only back 29 games. Of course, John Dorn referring to the all-time series between the Packers and the Lions. Back when they had leather helmets, the Packers have beat us a bunch. And back when Paul Hornung was the man, they beat us. And you're right, John. Bart Starr owns us. But as of right now, as of the last 4 games, you're 0-4. So join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the NFC North open mic, where John Dorn and I will go at it. I will correct his grammar. He will make bad takes. Those are 2 things you can count on. 7 p.m. Eastern time, NFC North open mic, broadcasting live into Facebook. Check us out on Detroit Lions Villain Squad. Also broadcasting live into NFC North the Huddle Monday nights at 7 p.m. Thanks for having me on, Russ, today. God bless you. Good to see you, Ken.
Good to see you, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike. And that is Main Event Mike right there. And you can join us tonight, man. We want to have you on here tonight. It is trash talking. It is trash talking. Come represent your team if you still want to represent your team, or if you just want to make fun of some of the teams that lost, like the Chicago Bears, or if you just want to, throw your hat in, get some smack talking in tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. And right before the game, we'll make our pick for the games tonight as well. But now it's just time, because I like having fun just a little bit right here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the link into the comments right now. And if you want to join the show a little bit, I got a few more minutes in here that I'm ready to talk some football. But what do you want to talk about, Ken?
Well, I was just noticing you're missing John Dorn's theme music. You'll have to bring that over from our other side. We go, the John Dorn "Will He Say Something Smart" theme music. It's a Jeopardy theme song. I think you need that for as many comments as Mr. Dorn has. We like to play that for John when he comes on our show as well. This season is not what I thought it would be from my team's perspective. I think you guys are doing what you should be doing. You're kind of where I thought you would be. The Vikings are a little behind where I thought they should be. The Packers were a little ahead of where they should be. That's why we play the season, right? Any given Sunday. And right now, the Bears own the top 2 picks, which is stupid scary. I think the coaching staff has been the main issue with the tools that this Chicago team has. I think you would do a better job coaching them.
I mean, do you think that they're going to go into some type of tank mode or making sure that you guys maintain that number 1 pick? Because, I mean, Caleb Williams is the real deal. This is one of those dudes that, I mean, you guys would be dumb not to take a quarterback again. Because I was watching Bryce Young play. This kid does have some skills. I was just like, wow, this kid's got a really good release. I mean, he's got a really, really quick release, but he's just so little.
The difference with let's say Justin Fields versus Mitch Trubisky draft, right? So we took Trubisky, even Bears fans are like, who? Because here's this kid, 10, 11 starts at a basketball college, right? And it was like, whatever. With Fields, I think it's different because we all saw him at Ohio State, and we know he can throw the ball on the dime deep.
Sure.
We know he's got the skills and that he's the real deal. I think what we're really seeing is how coaching in the NFL can really change a trajectory of a player, and how good coaching will take a guy like Mahomes and elevate him to superstardom, and how bad coaching can take a guy like Fields and make you go, you know what, that Tyson Bagent guy looks pretty good. So
I don't know, man. I mean, you guys would be great. This Caleb Williams is on, like, there's Trevor Lawrence, there was Drew Luck or Andrew Luck, and like all these other drafts with the quarterbacks, yeah, they're nice quarterbacks here and there, but Caleb Williams is one of those guys that only come along every once in a while. I would
agree with you though, that maybe you would take Caleb Williams, but I would stand by what I said earlier. Like, I would take Williams, but keep Fields. I mean, I've got nothing to lose at that.
Fields is going to be a good he's a decent. Might be a decent backup, but he's just not a good starter level quarterback. He's proven that he's not.
I wouldn't start Caleb right off the bat. I would let him sit behind Fields for a year, and if I have the luxury of doing it, let's be honest, if I have the luxury of doing it, I draft him and let him sit behind Fields for a year. Play Fields out in that final year of the contract. Let him learn the NFL. I mean, not expect much that year, and then throw him in the next year after just letting Fields walk, or because I don't think unless Fields were to do something throughout that year to say, hey, he's worth re-signing or whatever. The Bears are kind of a quandary right now, and I think a lot of that has to do. Look, we're actively.
Well, they're not going to be able to keep Fields, because here's what's going to happen is, like, you're going to be caught in this nexus place. Right?
Well,
like, Fields does not believe, but I think that because of the public criticisms that he came out and hit the coaching up, he does not want to be in Chicago anymore, and he's definitely not going to sit behind a rookie.
No, I don't think he'd sit behind a rookie. I think they'd start him over the rookie.
You guys would probably go to move him. Yeah. And then start over at that point, get a nice veteran in there. But I mean, at number 1, number 2, I mean, you guys could do like a Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. type of situation. And gosh, all is good in Bearland. I think that you guys would be happy with that poll.
And like right now, like, I don't understand, we're seeing the rumors and reports today that they're shopping Claypool, which is interesting because Claypool was the stud of camp, and now he's the villain of the team. But you know what? Claypool's right this week when he spoke out. The coaching is horrendous, and I know Woody has a lot to say on this. So
I'll bring him in, but I'm losing people. I'm just being honest with you right now. Like I have a whole bunch of Lion fans that are in here, and some Viking fans that are in here. I cannot take this whole show talking about the 0-4 Bears, guys.
We shouldn't.
I want Woody's opinion on this, but we cannot stay on the Bears anymore if I'm going to keep this program going. So go ahead, Woody. What's going on, brother?
What's the questions?
Well, I mean, we were talking about the Bears, but I'm watching my viewership drop from 50 to 30, and I think it's because people outside of the Bears don't give a shit about the Bears. So I mean, it kind of is what it is at this point. But
playoffs. This is an NFC North show, so all the teams should be cared for.
Yeah, and we've been caring for a lot of Bears today. An unbelievable amount of Bears have probably dominated about 50% of this program today.
Well, like I said, well, I didn't say Bears have number 1 and number 2 pick coming up next year.
That's actually pretty cool.
Let's keep losing. Was that ever done before? Has that ever happened before?
Well, the Cleveland Browns about 4 years ago or whatever, when they got Baker Mayfield, or I don't remember what draft that was, but they had 1 and 4. That's the closest that I've ever seen.
All I'm gonna say is like I said, Caleb Williams, I'm not on his train right now. I'm always on Bo Nix. I don't care how many
look at you go.
I don't care about how many touchdown passes Caleb Williams threw against a weak Colorado defense.
Right.
Let me tell you that. So, and we're going to get your boy Marvin Harrison Jr. I wanted to tell you that face to face.
I mean, I like that poll. I mean, and even if you guys went, stud quarterback and, best offensive lineman from the draft too, that would probably be pretty good. Know me, I'll take the lineman over Marvin Harrison Jr. You can always get wide receivers later that fit your
I wanted Paris,
deal.
like I said, I wanted Paris Johnson, but our offensive line, obviously they did pretty good yesterday. And like I said, I don't think it's all Justin Fields, but Justin Fields is going to have to show that aspect, that love of the game, like he did yesterday. It starts with coaching. Get rid of Getsky, please, because if you get rid of Eberflus, you get rid of a head coach, and now you have to get a head coach and a defensive coordinator. So start with Getsky. They suck. I was really pissed off. I put a hole in the wall yesterday, and all is good. And let's get on to the Lions.
Right on. Well, the thing I'll say about Justin Fields is he made some mistakes at the end of that game.
Yeah.
You cannot turn your back on all of the defense when you're dropping back as a quarterback. That was a no, and he put himself in a really bad position. He turned around. He took a bad fumble hit.
To his defense on that fumble, Cole Kmet could have came up and blocked that defensive end, and it wouldn't have happened. But I think before that, the momentum swang to Denver, and they wanted it in the second half. They wanted to win this game more than we did.
Well, Eberflus not kicking that field goal is going to be the reason that they're going to fire him, because I mean, really, I understand Dan Campbell's, like, sometimes he's crazy and he goes for it, but he uses like the football analytics through that. You guys had a chance to take the lead and be able to close that game out. There's no reason he should have tried.
Yeah, well, I'll accept Ben Johnson as a head coach, and hopefully we can talk to him pretty soon.
Yeah, that comes with Jared Goff.
I know.
Like wherever Ben Johnson goes is where Jared Goff is going to go, and that's when you're going to see the Hendon Hooker experience start. And it's not because Goff can't play either, guys. This was part of Brad Holmes' master plan from the get-go, was to get 2 first-round picks for Stafford and then have Goff there, and then flip Goff when he had drafted his quarterback of the future. And if they get a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Jared Goff, then I'm going to go, yep, that's why you're the best GM in the National Football League, Brad Holmes. Thank you.
Russell, I was thinking of you Thursday night when Jared Goff did that rollout and he ran for what, like 10, 12 yards.
Nobody wants to see him.
I wanted to see that.
Oh, he making me nervous. But you know what I do like about the RPO shot with like him scoring that touchdown and like being able to, it shows me that the offense is working on RPOs in practice. That means that Hendon Hooker and Teddy Bridgewater are working on RPOs, guys that can actually run RPOs. That means that they're practicing it and they're getting it ready. They're getting it ready for the new age Lions that are going to be here. And I think that Goff's good enough to win a damn Super Bowl. I mean, he's been to a Super Bowl, and everybody says, well, if you put a team around him, he can do fine. Well, he's got a team. He's got a team around him.
Like I said, Aiden Hutchinson's I'm going to tell you, I love the guy. He's an all out. Every play, he's all out. And it's great. And it did hurt yesterday with Khalil Mack with 6 sacks in one game. That was pretty good. But Aiden Hutchinson, like I said,
Pretty good. That was legendary.
The beginning of the season, I said Aiden Hutchinson's going to lead that NFC North in sacks. So hopefully that works out because I'm usually right.
I mean, he's a motor. He sets the edge. That's the best thing is like the biggest difference between this Lions team and last year's Lions team is Aaron Glenn finally has them stopping the run. Even in the game they lost, they stopped Seattle from running the football. They've stopped all 4 teams. I don't know where they're at in the NFL right now, but I guarantee that it's top 5, and we might have the best run defense in the NFL.
That might be KC. KC's defense is scary.
Not last night.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. From a consistent basis all year long, we ran on KC. We had over 100 yards rushing against Kansas City. So it's like, I mean, but that's without Chris Johnson. I hate asterisks. I hate asterisks because you know what? He wasn't available. Right. Too bad. They still put a dude there. It wasn't like it wasn't 11 on 11. Like, they had somebody that was there. And the funny thing about the whole Travis Kelce thing was, well, if Kelce was there, you would have killed you. Okay, well, the tight end did catch a touchdown. I'm sure that Kelce would have caught a touchdown too. So, I mean, I don't know. I hate that asterisk thing. I'm glad that the Lions got 2 really solid, dominating victories right in a row to show. And those are 2 decent teams, I guess. I mean, is Green Bay bad?
You're playing your schedule. I hate when people say, "Oh, you played shitty teams." You play in your schedule. There's nothing you can do about it. Everybody takes a turn on, teams. I don't want to hear. I hate that shit when people say that. I really do.
Well, you got to play the team that's put in front of you.
Absolutely.
And it's like I'm definitely done taking crap from I understand during the off season everybody's wondering, but now that we've had 4 games to see what these teams are, I mean, and there is still formation that is happening.
Right.
There is still continuity that's being built, but all that I've seen is a Detroit team that continues to get better from game to game to game to game.
You were right on, Russell. Detroit is 5th in the league in defense.
Okay. So that's a drastic improvement from last year.
I mean, you guys have made the right moves, like Montgomery for you guys. And, well, when it happened, I even said it was a phenomenal pickup for you. And look, he's your workhorse right now. They're just like, go figure, guy who was a workhorse in Chicago is also a workhorse in Detroit. Yeah. And he's paying off. So you guys have made the right moves because when your receiving core failed you a little bit, which it has, Montgomery's picked you right up. Well, I mean, even you had some memes like, what's up with my receiving core? I mean, the receiving core might not have lived up to the hype of the preseason, but that's okay. They haven't had to because you're running game.
Actually, there was no hype in the preseason, Ken. Actually, everybody was going, you have no number 2 wide receiver who's past Amon-Ra, and Josh Reynolds has absolutely stepped up to the plate. Yep. Khalif Raymond, just like I said, he has absolutely stepped up to the plate. And now they're going to get Jameson Williams back. And here's the thing. He might only get 8 targets in the game. He doesn't have to be there.
Obviously, the Bears are obviously trying to get rid of Claypool, and they're going to take a 5th or 6th rounder. If I'm the Lions, I'm like, sure, roll the dice.
I wouldn't touch Claypool with a 10-foot ball.
Hey,
Brad Holmes, I would question Brad Holmes' intelligence if he tried to go pick up that piece of garbage. Got people. Dylan Drummond from my practice squad is better than Chase Claypool. Stop it. Giving draft capital up for that trash wide receiver.
I said on the show yesterday, let's trade Claypool back to Pittsburgh and let's trade him for Mitch Trubisky.
There we go.
Well, Kenny Pickett out now.
You're going to have to give somebody draft capital to have them take them off your hands.
Well,
gosh, he is bad.
We're going to see Trubisky with Pickett. I don't know the extent of his injury. So,
really, Pickett? Yeah,
he got hurt yesterday. Yes.
You know what? I bet you he balls out. I mean, when you compared the 2 quarterbacks together, it was almost crazy to look at Trubisky versus Fields. I mean, Trubisky was better.
Yeah. In some ways.
Up until the point.
Up until, like I said this all the time. Mitch, everybody says Mitch was better than Fields. Let me tell you, Mitch knew how to throw it down the field, and he was very mobile. Okay, as soon as he hurt his shoulder, he grew a vagina and he stopped doing his shit. So, if Fields plays out this year and plays like he did yesterday, and we can go into next year's draft and do position players that we need and keep Fields, I'll be happy. I said the Bears would be 2-2.
Who's going to coach them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. We don't know. So.
I mean, it's that trifecta that we were talking about, where you got to have all three of them put together at the same time. You got to have a quarterback, a GM, and it sucks when the coaching's not there, because who knows how good those players that Poles brought in. Is it Poles? Is Poles failing? And actually Eberflus is the one that's
no. I think Eberflus is the problem. I keep saying coordinators should say coordinators, and I know they all start out as coordinators. Who cares? But like Matt Nagy, like Steve Spagnuolo, they both tried out coaching that didn't work. Now look at them. They won in Super Bowls. Spagnuolo is a hell of a defensive coordinator. And look at Nagy. I mean, I guess his offense might be down a little bit from last year, but they're winning Super Bowls. So I don't know who to take. I mean, I would take if Pittsburgh keeps playing the way they do, and they fire Mike Tomlin. Hey, bring him in. See what he does. Defensive coach. Let's go.
New scenery that might help.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Man, I don't know. I mean, the Lions went through it for years and years and years, man. We trying to find the dude. We tried Schwartz. Schwartz was decent for a minute, and I actually think that he did turn him around a little bit. Like, at least made the city of Detroit kind of believe at least a little bit with Sue and Stafford at the beginning. And then you brought in Caldwell. Caldwell was a good average coach. It kind of just reminded me of the old Marty Schottenheimer, where he would always play not to lose, and he couldn't really beat good teams. And then they went through Patricia. It's like you want to have all three of the things hit, and then finally the pieces work together. That's what you guys are just looking for. You're looking for a GM, a coach.
I would like to see Detroit and San Francisco. San Francisco has probably the best around all team right now. They're just unreal. Nobody can stop McCaffrey. Nobody. I'm glad I have him on 3 of my fantasy leagues.
And that's the thing that I love about the Lions team is I think that they're built to stop the super teams like that. I couldn't believe the way they contain Aaron Jones and these and like Bijan Robinson. It's like Bijan Robinson is a really good running back. You can see it in his moves. You can see like how he makes people miss, but the way the Lions play run defense, they swarm the guy. Everybody does their gap assignments and they suffocate the run, and they make the quarterbacks beat you.
I would like to see Sewell go up against Bosa. That would be a phenomenal,
absolutely
phenomenal matchup.
And usually you call that a whoever Bosa's going up against, forget about it, right? But Sewell can handle the best pass rushers in the league, and that's why they drafted him 7th overall. But I mean, he's that type of special player. This guy has 4 games. He's only allowed 2 hurries in 4 games.
Hey, I said it, me and you, I've been on your show a lot, over the summer, and I said Detroit's going to, win this division. I'm happy for you. I really am. It's all those years you built this team, and it's finally here. See how far they go.
Well, I don't want to count it because these are the games right here. It's like, that was a big game. To win that game in Lambeau the way that they did, that was big for the franchise. It was big, but the whole Lucy pulling the ball out from underneath right before we kick it is right when we start going hip hip hooray. A team like Carolina that plays really, really good in the trenches, that don't mind standing up to you, throwing some haymakers back at you. That's a scary team. That's a scary team. And I hope we dominate them like I think we can, because I think this is a different mindset that they have now. But Carolina is a trap team in the making. They
play
0-3, desperate against the,
You almost wish you had a game like this week for the Lions. Like, you just get off beating Green Bay, then you wish you hit like a San Francisco or a Philly or one of those established teams is good, because then it's good easy for your team to get up for that game.
Right.
Carolina, though, I can see why it's a trap game. I mean, you look, they're 0-4, but they're good.
I don't think it's a trap game. The thing that works in our favor is they did beat our ass last year, so it doesn't matter what their record is. Our guys are like, man, I'm gonna kick your ass this time. It's a great revenge game, and they're in our house and we're not in their house.
And they lost to Minnesota too. You got to add that on.
Gosh, man. Minnesota. Wow. Minnesota with a win, man. Is Sarah in here? Sarah, if you're in here, I wanted to congratulate you. I'm not, and honestly, I just went on here. If you didn't hear me earlier, I have to go back. I was wrong about some certain things. I've been very, very hard on the Minnesota Vikings, and they are. I mean, I was right about.
But they are who we
I'm
thought.
not wrong about the Vikings. They're not a very good team on defense yet, but after watching them, I do think they're the second best team in this division. I think they're really good offensively, and the defense did a pretty good job yesterday. For having a bunch of has-beens and nobodies. They stepped it up when they needed to. They got sacks against Bryce Young, collapsed the pocket, stopped the run at the end of the game, and was able to close that game out. So kudos to you, Minnesota Vikings. You're not. You at least have one win right now, right?
And you know what, Russell? I think CJ Stroud is working out. He might be the first Ohio State quarterback that pans out.
Good. So then they can put that stupid narrative to bed.
And good win against Notre Dame, bud, because I hate Notre Dame. Oh, what a passion. And congrats to Virginia Tech. We went out and kicked some ass on Saturday, too.
That was a quality win, man. When you look at that, to go into Notre Dame and into that stadium, a hostile environment. I know we don't talk about college too much on here, but I am a Buckeye fan. And I liked that. I did.
Soccer either. Don't worry.
Hey, Russell, interesting.
And I hate Michigan, but I do like my Michigan fan friends. Like Main Event Mike, you're my favorite guy in the world. That's Michigan fan friends. GT, my favorite Michigan fan friends. Congratulations. I'm happy that you're happy, but F your team.
Cool. Mike, I know you miss me too, bud. I know you miss me, and I miss you tremendously.
Hey, Russell, interesting fact here, and I said this yesterday, and I was blown away, but double-checked it. So since Elon Musk bought Twitter, the Chicago Bears are in a league of their own, as in they're the only professional sports team in the United States of America that have not won a single game since Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Wow. Yeah.
The only team. Yeah.
All right, Sarah. Sarah's saying it was a pathetic win.
Come on, Sarah.
A win's a win.
Come on.
A win's a win. But here, Sarah, gosh, I can't believe this. I'm usually yelling at Sarah, telling her how bad her team is, but I want to talk you off the ledge right here, because I like Bryce Young as a quarterback. I thought that his release when I was watching that game, I mean, he's got some talent as a ball thrower, but
I think he's on the wrong team. But
whatever. But but what I'm saying is, like, that ball comes so smooth out of his hands. I mean, he does need to be coached, but it sucks. I mean, they've lost all their games, but it was cool to see all these has-beens and nobodies from the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Flores has got a plan in there, and they got it done at the end of the game. Held them. What did they score? 13 points or something like that? Is that what it was?
What a 51-yard fumble recovery for
21-13. And here's the thing with Kirk Cousins. You know, I know that you want to draft a quarterback, but don't underestimate the fact that Carolina defense. That Carolina defense was legit last year. It got better in the offseason. And
that's just so Vikings to say, I'm ready to get a rookie quarterback when you've got the best quarterback in the division already.
And I wanted to say hi to Sarah, and don't take our quarterback. That's all I care about.
Well, they need to get a quarterback, but I mean, because there's no plan for the future right now. I mean, shit or get off the pot. Either extend this guy, Kwesi, and give him some form of security, or, I mean, put it out there. Trade the guy right now while he's got great value. You could trade him somewhere that needs a quarterback right now.
And I mean, I was wrong about Minnesota because I said that too before the season started, that even though Madison sucks as a starting running back, in which he does, he's showing it now. Justin Jefferson's still leading the league in receiving yards. So I thought they're going to be doing a lot of doubling on him and throwing it to Speed Demon 140, I call him, or Osborne. But Osborne's been dropping passes as well.
I mean, Sarah, that might be a legit argument, but the question I guess to ask Kirk
for sure.
Look, do you need 20 million or can we give you 15? I think you're at the point with Kirk I don't think he's going to try to raid the refrigerator for all the sandwich meat. No. He's going to leave you some meat and some cheese and some mayonnaise to get the rest of that sandwich made. I mean, God, I need a sandwich now. But no, I think Kirk would work with you. I think, and look, he's the best quarterback in the division. He's anywhere he goes, he wins. I mean, the guy doesn't lose. I just think you need to. No, yeah, he has a no trade clause, but he also has no contract.
They can always work around that too. I think that, I mean, Kirk wants to go somewhere where he thinks he can win games too. And you look at a team like the Jets right there. I mean, if the kid can win a game or two, Zach Wilson, they may consider being desperate like that. And I'm not saying it's smart because they already traded for Rodgers to trade for Cousins, but like somebody like the Jets might just be that stupid to get him on a rental so they could try to save their season, but get some value out of this guy or extend him. You're going to lose all of it. You can't let Kirk Cousins go to free agency.
If you let him go to free agency, you might as well try to sign or trade for Jonathan Taylor to help your backfield out. I'll tell you that right now.
No trade value? Are you kidding me? For Kirk Cousins. Wow. No trade value. Wow.
Yeah.
For a top 10 quarterback that you can get for $30 million. And the Vikings would probably, I mean, they already got some of that on dead anyway. So it might be a cheap contract.
Yeah,
you'd be able to get a second round pick. I think you could get a 2 or a 3 out of Kirk.
A second round pick, absolutely.
San Francisco,
3, no problem. No problem.
If you're San Francisco right now, and let's say in a week or two you're facing a quarterback injury. Hey, Kwesi,
Sam Darnold. No, that's
Hey, Kwesi, our Mr. Relevant just went down with a hand injury, whatever. So what do you want for Cousins?
Oh, look at this right there. Kirk would cost them $10 million. Oh my God, you might be able to get a first round pick. You might be able to get a first round pick for $10 million, a starting quarterback. Are you kidding me? He doesn't even have to be good. It would be worth a 2.
That's what Nick Chubb gets a year, $10 million.
Wow. Yeah, you guys should be shopping Kirk right now, unless you guys feeling like you can dig out of that 1 and 3.
Wow, no trade value. I'm still shocked that was said. Hell yeah. You can get a second round pick for Kirk Cousins. No doubt.
They probably didn't know that. Whoever made that comment, J Mommy probably didn't know that Kirk Cousins was only going to cost $10 million.
Well, like I told Ken yesterday, I'm 98% right. The other 2% I'm sleeping. So
yeah.
But I mean, all these trade talks, I know a lot of people get frustrated. I'm sorry if that's you. We'll move on from that because I really don't buy the mid-season trade type of stuff right there. But I mean, Kwesi has done a lot of questionable stuff. And I mean, when Rick Spielman was there, it seemed like they had a plan and they had a couple of really legitimate shots with Dalvin Cook and Kirk when they had that whole thing going on with the defense and everybody there. But when Kwesi got there, man, it seems like everything that he's done has been like really out there, very eccentric. You know, paying $17 million for a tight end after you paid $8 million for a tight end, and now you're going to pay $30 million for a wide receiver. And I would be freaking out, pulling my hair out. Oh gosh, okay, I don't have any.
They went all in last year.
Well, yeah. The question is that signing Hawkinson, re-signing Jefferson, is Kirk Cousins going to take that pay cut to stay there?
And I feel you right there too, Ken, where you said it was like just an all-in thing, but extending Hawkinson and signing Oliver, that was post doing all that stuff. They did that after the season was over. So he's sacrificing the future by trying to win now with a roster that isn't good enough. So now not only does he have bad contracts, but he also has not the draft capital to go get new guys and to get guys that are on rookie contracts that are good. And he hasn't been drafting well. I mean Andrew Booth Jr. is a second round pick that is a bust. Like, I mean, maybe he does have a better season this year, but Kwesi, gosh, man, I would be questioning him.
I mean, if you're in Minnesota right now and you're by, week 9 or 10 and it's looking dismal, I mean, what do you do at that point? I mean, you don't trade Jefferson. He's your future, right?
Is this true?
Sarah's the best.
I don't know. But
Kwesi doesn't even have the power done by a committee?
I don't know.
That would be,
that
would be awful to be terrible. To be a general manager who has to go ask a bunch of people before he can make a decision.
I mean,
do you think Ryan Poles goes ask McCaskey about what he can do? No.
But you actually know, what are you wrong in that case? Because I think right now, if it was up the polls, Eberflus should be gone. But Virginia's like, now, Ryan, we don't fire guys during the season. That's not the Bear way.
McCaskey already said, and I heard it. He says, I don't know football. There you go.
What?
He doesn't know football.
Yeah, he said that.
Nope.
I mean, some of these.
Are you going to trust an owner about making decisions if he comes out and says, I don't know football? If I'm Ryan Poles, I'll be like, fuck you. I'm making all the decisions right now. Yeah. Done.
Wow.
Done.
Yeah. Yes, Sarah. I mean, that sucks. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, if I'm looking at the Minnesota Viking organization, if they're running it like that, you got great fans like Sarah who love your team, and you're not giving your general manager the power that he needs to build the team that he wants to build. So if he's being oppressed as a general manager for whatever reason, the biggest question on the Minnesota Vikings is the general manager to me. Yeah, I look back and I've had so many head scratching things that if I was a Viking fan, I would be upset with. I would be upset with that TJ Hawkinson contract. That's ridiculous amount of money to pay to a tight end. And then the Oliver contract, and that's after you already signed a tight end for a giant contract. I mean, that's not smart cap management. You got to fill the rest of your roster. You got to be able to play defense.
At what point does Minnesota start making moves towards cutting that cap down? It's like, is it trading Cousins? If the season's lost, let's say week 9, before we get right before the trade deadline, look, we're not going to the playoffs, but we need to trim this roster down, and get something back. Because you can let Cousins walk, and you're not taking a hit for next year. You're not getting any value for a guy you should be getting value. But like, at what point do you say, hey, here's a team that we could get rid of Hawkinson and
you gotta think. You got to think next level. You got to think, elevate your thinking there, Kwesi. You cannot let guys walk out like Martin Mayhew let Ndamukong Suh walk out the door. And it's like, maybe it was him never wanting to play here again or whatever, but you're good players. You need to be able to retain. You know,
Like,
that's a
can you
sign
pawn
of a healthy
Hawkinson?
organization. When you re-sign the second contract to a dude that was really good, if they can get Penei Sewell to a second contract, if they can get Amon-Ra St. Brown to a second contract, those are the guys that you build your franchise around, the ones that were there at the studs when they were, you know, putting in the foundation.
Quezzy's going to need to like be looking at like who can I pawn Hawkinson off on where I can save a little bit of money but get some value, especially if you're really looking in Minnesota like you're going to be this team that is going to be based off your two young stud wide receivers and get rid of everything else. Well, then get rid of these tight ends that are completely garbage for you. Get some value out of it. Do something with Cousins. Get some value out of it, because right now you're two stud wide receivers and nothing else at the end of the season of value.
Yeah, if I were them, I would definitely trade one of two people, and one of them being Justin Jefferson, the other one being TJ Hawkinson. You gotta bet on one of these guys, and honestly, if you want to build a full franchise and a full team, I would really tell you that you can't have both. And honestly, I think I would lean towards Hawkinson, and I would try to get rid of him, you know, for whatever you could get, because people aren't going to want to take on that giant contract. And if they do, you're probably not going to get too much. So pawn him off at that contract for a 5 or a 5th or 6th round pick, and then be done with that part of the contract. Sign Justin Jefferson, make him the largest contract ever, because he's the best wide receiver in the league. There's no doubt about that right now. Give the man his bag. Give him the giant bag, and then draft a quarterback in next year's draft that you can get behind, or go and get another veteran in free agency, and then build around the line.
But I mean, right now, I don't understand with the Vikings is you have legitimately the best quarterback in the division. You have a quarterback that everywhere he's gone wins, gives you numbers. He doesn't lose games for you. He wins more games than not. I just don't understand this. Well, we're just going to walk out the door, because, like, I can tell you there are a couple GMs who are just frothing at the mouth going,
what can I do to get Kirk Cousins? Yeah. You know, what could I do to get Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
And luckily, the rest of the NFL and the franchises feel better about Kirk Cousins than you do, Sarah, because I do think that he's more valuable than a lot of people are giving him credit for. I think he's one of the most underrated commodities in this whole league. I mean, I have his drop because I think that he's an awesome competitor. I watched him play at Michigan State. I mean, he's a great football player. But he just doesn't run. I swear to God that if he just had wheels to escape the pocket and he had the exact same ability, they'd love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was a little faster, it's like, gosh, you need a guy that'll stand right in the pocket while the big dude's running straight at him at 100 miles an hour, deliver the ball on target while he's getting hit in the gut and driven, and not have to escape the pocket. I'll put my body on the line so I can complete the pass type of pocket guy, make good decisions. That's what you got. That's what Kirk Cousins is. Don't you wish that Justin Fields would do that? You know, like sit in the pocket and take what's being given to him and not feel like he needs to do so much and give the ball over when you don't want him to. It's fun to watch this dude run outside the pocket, dude. He's electric outside the pocket and, you know, running and making plays happen that break down, but not every play breaks down. I mean, 80% of plays don't break down, and then you just got to sit in the pocket and execute the play. I mean, 1 read, 2 read. Okay, go.
With Kirk, he's one of those guys, like, let's say Atlanta, their young quarterback situation doesn't work. He's perfect for them because they've got a great running back. They've got a solid team around him. Because Atlanta's not a terrible team. I don't think they're great on quarterback play. Like, he could go into Atlanta, and all of a sudden Atlanta will win games. Kirk can go to a lot of teams from that bubble and win a lot of games.
And they got a stud tight end that could break out at any time if they had a good quarterback. Kyle Pitts is a stud.
Yeah. I think they're an underrated team. As a matter of fact, Greg Rice had pegged the Atlanta Falcons as one of the breakout teams from this year. You know, getting Bijan Robinson. They already had Tyler. And Desmond Ridder ain't that bad. Our defense made them look really, really bad. But, I mean, that's just because, you know, we were getting after them. We were collapsing the pocket. Any quarterback looks bad when you can collapse the pocket, you know?
And the thing, like, even like Ritter has made some mistakes mistakes of youth, we can call it. I think like Cousins would be a great, if he's even a rental, he's a great mentor for Ritter for a year or two as well.
Ooh, okay, I hear you. Yeah, they would probably be able to afford it too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you're
That's
Minnesota,
a great call.
And you're getting to that point, get something for Kirk to a team that can at least appreciate him. And look, if he hits, he's going to make good money somewhere, and that team is going to win games.
And Sarah, and I know that you would. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, you told me I was crazy for saying that they would trade Kirk, but now after you're looking at it, what would you feel if all of a sudden they shipped Kirk to Atlanta for a second round pick to pick up that contract, and then you were forced to just kind of deal with whatever, you know, whatever you have. I don't even know who their backup is in Minnesota, but just to kind of throw that season away, that you would be kind of throwing the season in. But yeah. Sarah says she wants Kirk out of here. So wouldn't you rather try to get a draft pick for him? You know, I mean, he is valuable.
Nick Mullins is their backup, and he wasn't bad in San Francisco.
So yeah, there you go. Maybe you could bet on Nick Mullins, because I mean, you got a decent running attack with a three-headed monster right there. I thought Madison did well. This was the most impressive. It was really funny that they don't like Kirk, but as a whole, I thought this was the most impressive game that Minnesota's played all year. Like when you talk all three phases, and I was just like, that's where I'm feeling that they're the second best team in this division. Because
Cousins to Minnesota, what Jay Cutler was Chicago, a quarterback that while he was with that team, you're like, man, you know, fan base didn't like him. Like, man, get rid of him. And then 3 or 4 years later, like, you know, we really missed the dude, and he was actually really good for us.
They will. If you think the grass is greener than Kirk Cousins, you know, good luck with that. But I'm just being real with you. Yeah. And haven't I been real with you guys? I've been real with you guys on this program since the middle of the summer when we started doing this. And I haven't apologized for any of the stuff. And I would come up here and own it. I'm kind of owning this in a half-ass kind of way, because I really thought that Minnesota would be the walking, you know, getting stepped on by everybody. I thought everybody's going to whoop up on them because their defense. But Brian Flores, he's putting it together there, man. They got some young pieces that ain't bad. Ivan Pace Jr., they got some dudes over there that ain't bad, that are a bunch of no-name dudes. But I got somebody that I'll let Steve come on and do his take, but then I got to get out of here. But Steve is real. Yeah. Welcome to the program.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Wrong one.
Well, I'm a Bears fan, so how do you think I feel?
Oh, well, you know what, Woody? Hey, my Packers fans.
It's not hey, it's hell.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I'm kind of with you, because now it's around the league that the Packers are like the softest team in the NFL now. We're soft. We have no whatever, and that's fine. You know, I'll take it. But you know, the thing is,
I don't think you're soft though, do you? Do you?
No.
I don't think that you are either.
No.
Because I want to think that the Detroit Lions just got a quality win right there over a good team that we just got the better of. That's how I want to spin it. But I don't want to think I beat some weak ass thing. But
after that game though, bro, it was said that, I mean, I was glad to see Matt LaFleur pissed. Finally pissed. His face was red. He called the one guy out, said that's a BS question or whatever it was. And he says, there's going to be some changes. And I was glad to see that, you know, and so forth. So I'm just waiting. I know for this year, we're no Super Bowl team or nothing. Like I said, 7-10, 8-9, 9-8. I'll live with it. It's fine. And next year when we get some cap space, we'll see what happens. But I thought it. Yeah, I thought of this for the Vikings yesterday. Now, Woody, you might think that I'm demented or whatever when I say this or something, but if the Minnesota Vikings were smart, cap wise, money wise, whatever, they should trade Justin Jefferson to the Bears for the 2 first-round picks. If they're wanting to get rid of Cousins, he's going to be gone. Then they could go draft a new quarterback and then still have a chance if they can get another elite receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Let me say this. I think football is like other sports. If you have too many big name players on your team, it doesn't always work out too well.
You're right. I agree with you.
You've had enough of that shit.
Yeah, I remember the Redskins teams back in the day. Remember when they got Bruce Smith and Deion Sanders and all those guys, and they didn't do that.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Whatever. But
why would I, as a Bears fan, why would I want Jefferson, who's going to cost me $20-30 million a year, when I can get Marvin Harrison Jr. on a rookie contract? And I have DJ Moore already.
We're not going to get him either. We're going to get a quarterback probably that first.
Well,
they are who we thought they were.
I don't know.
But see, this is why I'm saying this is what the NFL is. The NFL anymore is all about the media. It's all about hype and whatever. This is a big story thing. Like, no, I agree with you. The Bears could get Marvin Harrison Jr. They could. Like now with us, I'm hoping that we get a good mid-round draft pick. I want to get John Old, the left tackle from Notre Dame. I want a new. I'm tired of this Bakhtiari crap. I want him gone. I'm tired of this. He's on our team, IR, giving him all this money, and he's not even playing. But I just thought of that because I've seen this happen in the NFL. Money-wise, Vikings can free up. I mean, I would it happen? No. I agree with you guys. But that would be something if that would happen. They would get Justin Jefferson, and Minnesota could get their new quarterback, then a new wideout. But then again, I was like, well, the Bears could get Marvin Harrison. Are they going to keep Fields? And Woody, I've been wanting to say this for a long time. Mm-hmm. I think if the Bears go after the quarterback, what quarterback would you want? Be honest.
I was honest the whole time. I want Bo Nix.
Bo Nix? Okay, I threw him in there. I either see it's Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, from Michigan, yeah.
No,
I don't want everybody saying about May out of North Carolina. I don't want a quarterback out of a basketball school. Please, no more.
We did that before. Right. It didn't work out.
Bears fans were arguing with me all day on Saturday when I said I wanted Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is better than Caleb Williams. Everybody was laughing at me. I'm like, I don't care if you laugh at me or not.
I don't believe in Caleb Williams.
Well, it's a little bit early, I mean, the season, the college football season isn't even over yet. So,
well, here's an interesting idea since we've been talking about it. So Minnesota says, you know what, Kirk, we're going to let you walk. The Bears are on the bubble. Do we keep Justin? Do we draft the quarterback? Hey, Kirk's out there. Hey, Kirk, we got money. We're going to have $90 million. Let's give Kirk 20 or 30 of it a year for 2 or 3 years. We've got a receiving core. The O-line's pretty good in Chicago. I mean, look, if Fields holds the ball the second longest of any quarterback in the league, so they're giving him decent protection. And then we just spend draft capital on defense, which obviously needs help. I mean, how's that for an option for Chicago? Hey, well, why draft a quarterback when you got a proven winner in a team that you feel, given the right quarterback, could maybe win you something now?
And where does Fields go?
Fields becomes the backup. Or we just trade him or whatever. It doesn't matter at that point.
And I said Russell on Friday about their OC, Ben Johnson, if he's going to become a head coach. He is. I mean, it's writing on the wall. I mean, he's a hell of an offensive coordinator, good play, everything. And could he be the new head coach for the Chicago Bears?
I just said it earlier.
Or whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, it could happen. It could happen.
Like, I don't think Poles would trade for Cousins because you don't do that kind of trade in the division during the season. But, I mean, if Minnesota's going to let him walk, and if the Bears are on the bubble about, do we really want to start over with a rookie quarterback in the draft? Or, we've got $90 million of cap space we can spend. Do we spend 30 of it on Cousins, right? I mean, Cousins becomes a viable option, and no one and Minnesota can't stop you from doing it. Offensively, the Bears have the tools that Cousins could be successful. And let's say you've got 2 picks in the top 10. Why don't you then maybe get Marvin Harrison Jr. and then an edge rusher that you need, right? I mean, offensively, the weapons the Bears have, offensively, wide receiving core, running back situation, tight end situation, the line is good enough. A good quarterback, if you're done with Fields, might be the answer. And then you just spend it all on defense. I'm just tired of the Bears, and I hate to bring this back to the Bears, but I'm tired of the Bears. We're every 3 years now, we're drafting a new quarterback and giving them 2 years, 3 years. This doesn't work. Move on. Okay, fine. If we're going to play that game, let's just get a guy we know everywhere he goes wins. By the way, he's the only quarterback in the NFL who's the last 400-yard passer for not one but 2 franchises, right? So, hey, that's an option. Kirk Cousins to Chicago via free agency. Bears draft an edge rusher and Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft. There you go.
Quessy better not let that happen. Gosh, man, if you just let him walk and you don't trade him and oh my gosh, man, Quessy's got some black eyes to deal with right here. So we're gonna move on. We got to move on to the last part right here because I got to end up closing this out. And this is the game tonight, right? Seahawks and Giants, right? Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football tonight. So, I mean, and just in case you guys don't come on to the show tonight, why don't we go ahead and we'll start with Ken Doby, who you got in this game, and throw it in the comments too, who you got in this game tonight.
New York, man, I feel sorry for them because they're a team that has some potential, but I go with the Seahawks tonight. They just seem to win games that sometimes you think maybe they shouldn't. They beat a very good Lions team already this year. They've had some good games. I'll take the Seahawks to win this one. I don't know if I don't know score wise. We'll go 24-17 Seahawks.
Right on. How about you, Woody?
Without Barkley's said it before, he's always hurt. Giants have an issue at Breida is a pretty he's an okay running back. I had a lot of potential for the Giants this year, but their team is just being a mess. And with Geno Smith has something special with Lockett. That's a great duo. I have Seahawks winning 24-20.
Awesome. So how about you? Steve is real. Yeah. All right.
For some odd reason, I think the Giants somehow is going to escape with a win.
What? All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. I mean,
love it.
this is. I'm sorry, guys. I love you. This is the NFL. And
yeah.
It's at New York. And
New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
Well, okay.
New Jersey.
That always. I hate that. Why? But something just tells me, like a 17-14, 2017, a very, very close game. But I think somehow the Giants pull this one out.
All right. So that's Steve. Steve is real. Now, I want everybody out there in the comments, if you guys are still listening right here, we got 23 people on there watching on the YouTube right now. We appreciate you. And if you are watching on the YouTube and you haven't liked the video yet, that would be awesome if you could just hit that like button, because it's like, that helps us out, helps us reach more people, and we're trying to reach as many football fans as there is. Now, in this game right here, I think the Seahawks are a very, very good team. They got 2 awesome running backs, and Geno Smith is proving that he isn't just a one-hit wonder, that he's actually a decent quarterback. And Giants don't have Saquon Barkley. I predict that the Seahawks are going to roll in this game. I'm going to say 28-13 will be the final score. And let's get into the end right here, man. Why don't you plug your show, Woody? Go ahead.
Oh, I'll let Ken do it because he's the star of the show. Ken, go ahead.
Oh,
all right.
Jesus. I swear, yeah. Hey, Wednesday night, 7:30 Central. We don't do that Eastern Seaboard, whatever time. 7:30 Central on Wednesday. Hallis Hall Report. Find Woody, myself, Mike. We'll be doing that this Wednesday, and then the Thursday we'll be on as well for the shellacking we're going to take at the hand of the Commanders, and we'll be doing that Thursday. And every Sunday pregame, 11:30 in the morning Central. We do our pregame show.
All right. So that's, yeah. So if you are a Chicago Bear fan, go follow Mike the Bear Fan for all that Bear content right there. And if you are a Packer head and you still like cheese and you want to get your Packer news from Bill the Packer Fan, and he will hook you up, you can follow Bill the Packer Fan if you're a Packer head. And we right here, we are at the Villain Squad. I made some cool little graphics from this today that also advertises tonight is the NFC North open mic with your host, Main Event Mike, man. He's been crushing that stuff. And right now, this is NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. And those little QR codes, that takes you right there to go ahead and follow the page right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And man, this has been an awesome episode today, man. I appreciate everybody that's out there, Facebook land, YouTube land, wherever you're watching us right now. We appreciate you. This is a weekday thing. Every day at 11 a.m. we start and we doing this thing. So we love you. And I'll leave you with this. This is what I really like to leave you with is may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tomorrow, actually tonight at 7 p.m. God bless you. We'll see you tonight. One Pride.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Go Pack.
Give me 1 second, Ken. I want to thank everybody out there right now for watching our broadcast today. Had a fun time. Had a fun time today talking some football. Right now, in the comments, I'm going to throw in a link to the broadcast today. And if you like what you heard today, I would love you to go over there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a like on wherever you're watching it from, whether it's Bill the Packer Fan, Mike the Bear Fan, Detroit Lion News, the YouTube channel. Just give us a like. And if you haven't followed the page yet or subscribed, right there, that QR code, just point your phone at it with the camera and it'll take you right to the Facebook page. She's beautiful, Ken.
Oh, it's he.
He?
Yep.
Well, then he's handsome.
Born yesterday, first grandson.
Wow. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Let me get this so I can show it. There you go.
Yeah.
Here, get it back there close again. I want to see that. You see, that's what it's all about, folks. We love football. We love football as much as anybody else, but it's all about this. It's all about family.
Oops, so let me get the even holding them like a football yesterday.
Yeah, just don't drop them like Justin Fields did. Oh gosh, man.
Yeah, that's Sebastian, born yesterday at 5:32 in the evening. Yep.
This is what we call the after hours right here. Right here. Well, it's really cool because of StreamYard. They allow us to broadcast in all these spots. So it also allows me to send comments into all the spots at the same time. And I can't do it unless I'm live. So we just do like a little wind down, get some mood music going in the background. Yeah. A little bit of advertising. Show you what we do tonight. And if you did enjoy the broadcast, I mean, it doesn't matter who you're rooting for. We just like talking football. It's a good thing. But what I like to leave everybody with, and this is the actual ending, but this is kind of like Marvel. If you've ever watched Marvel, how you go through all the credits and everything, and at the end, they show you something else. This is something I like to throw at all the Packer fans, and I'll leave you with this, and then I'll see you guys tonight.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. You have a great day.